Hey everyone, and welcome back to Elden Ring. So in this episode, we're going to continue down this path, past where Kenneth is, and we're going to start right here. There's a little church that we're going to go to, and then we're just going to follow this path around and down here. So when you have a map that is not unlocked yet, when you see this little symbol on the screen, that is the steel where we can go find the piece of map fragment from. So that is going to be one of our main goals. Coming to the church and then coming down here. And if we can make it, we'll try to get to Kenneth Heights Fort. If not, then we will just see how far we can go. So let's go ahead and do it. Start with the Glintstone Arc, so we are going to have a few groups of enemies that we're going to go ahead and take care of. Start off with this little easy one here. See what kind of loot they have to drop. Some row of fruit and some row of fruit. And then underneath here we're going to have some more enemies. I've got some more of the demi-humans. There are a number of them, so if you kind of target one of them that's in the back and then send out your Glintstone Arc, you have a better chance of hitting more of them at once. Oh, that's kind of fun. There we go. Another thing that you might have noticed on the left-hand side of the screen, excuse me for coughing there, on the left-hand side of the screen, you can see that little icon, and that's just giving us the indication that we can summon our ashes here if we wanted to. Not too difficult, but if you feel like you're overwhelmed, go for it. Not going to hurt anything. So we just picked up a spiked club, and that one we cannot use because we don't have enough strength. We'd need to get 12 in there. The club with beast fangs wrapped around the striking end. The uneven spread of fangs causes blood loss, which is good. Given only to the toughest of demi-humans, this weapon is a badge of honor, or so the demi-humans believe. And this one has Barbaric Roar as a skill. Let loose a bestial roar to rally the spirit and increase attack power. While active, strong attacks change to savage combo attacks. So if you're wanting to have something with strike damage and that does bleed, that can be extremely useful. Picked up another really good item. Rainbow Stone shines with colored light when placed, serving as a guide. Ruin fragment that has undergone some simple processing. Craftable item. Stones such as these shine with the colors of the rainbow, making them useful markers when placed on the ground. Can also be dropped to gauge the distance of a fall. The higher the pitch of the sound, the higher the likelihood of the fall being fatal. Once used to entertain children on the fringes of the lands between. So let's go to item crafting. We'll make a few of them, and then we'll equip them just so that I can show you what these do. And then we'll go to that on our item menu. So if you're in a dungeon or in some like tight hallways and you want to be able to see where you're going, you can drop these stones, and they do light up in different colors. But you can also kind of make a path with them. So I've dropped 5 of them now. And if I look back, then I can see this is the path that I went, and this is where I dropped the stuff. So they can be very useful. Once they're dropped, you can't pick them back up. But you're going to find so many rune fragments that you're not going to ever have to worry about not having enough of those if you want them. So we picked up another magic grease, which we have used that one before. That's the one that will put magic attack power onto our melee weapon. There we go. That was better. Alright, let's see what they dropped. Some more rainbow stones. All right, let's go ahead and get on our horse and head towards our beacon over there. And let's go ahead and top off on that. And we'll remove those from our equipment. So we've got another troll up here. There is another site of grace right inside that church, so if you don't feel like fighting the troll, you don't have to. But honestly, he's not too much trouble. Magic works really well. He roars, which gives you some time to do a charged heavy attack. Hopefully you can actually hit it. Another thing that works really well on this guy is the unsheath ability. And also dying to him. That was a little bit better dodging. See if we can get him to stagger. There we go. So when he falls, or when these trolls fall, you want to get to the glowing spot up by their head, and you'll be able to get a critical attack. And that should have killed him. Nope. There we go. So he had just a sliver of health left. And because he's the only one enemy in that group, we get our heal back. So let's get tucked around here. There we go. Alright, so before we head into the church, let's come over this way. And if you remember, this is where we had that sending gate marked on our map from D. So let's come over here and look at that. I'm personally not going to use it right now. I have a plan for when I'm going to use it, but it's not quite yet. So this will send you to another pretty far away area on the map. Once you get there, there is a site of grace close by, so you can pick that up and then fast travel back here fairly easily. So if you want to go that way, then that's cool. There is a really cool NPC that you'll want to meet, and like I said, we will do that eventually. So also make sure that you come over here and get this scarab. This one is really good. So the Ash of War Sacred Blade. Let's go ahead and read that one super quick. So this one grants affinities and skills to an armament, Sacred Blade. The Ash of War grants an armament with the Sacred affinity and the following skill. Sacred Blade. Grants armaments, attacks, holy essence, and fires off a golden blade projectile. The armament retains its holy essence for a while. It's usable on melee armaments, so like whips, fists, and claws accepted. So like swords, clubs, things like that. So pretty much any type of melee weapon except the ones that were listed there. I know that in previous episodes I have used the word holy damage, but this game actually calls it sacred damage, so apologies for that. Another area that you can summon may not be a bad idea since the Rune Bear is in here, but he's currently distracted with all of these wolves, so I would recommend just running in here real quick, spamming the button to pick up items. You'll get a smithing stone too, and a couple of the Trina's lilies. If you want to try fighting them, absolutely go for it. Once you're stronger, or if you're using like a sword and shield and heavier armor, it does make the Rune Bears a little bit easier. Dodging them is pretty challenging, but like blocking and being able to tank some of the damage is really good. So here we are in the church, and I think the name of it came up. If it didn't, then we'll get it right here with the site of grace when we rest. So let's do that second. Let's get these items real quick. So this is going to give us a sacred tier, and that is going to improve the sacred flask's potency. Blessing of the Erd Tree, worshipped in the churches of all lands. This is but a faint vestige. Increases the potency of a sacred flask's restorative effects. During the age of the Erd Tree, these tiers were used to spread the faith, for theirs was once a certain blessing. So, like the golden seed gives us more uses of our flask, This one is going to make the flask more potent, so it's going to give us back more FP or HP. This is the Flask of Wondrous Physik. You can find crystal tears at the bases of minor Erd trees and elsewhere throughout the lands between. At sites of grace, you can mix 2 crystal tears in the Flask of Wondrous Physik. This will allow you to create elixirs with various custom effects. So we picked up the Crimson Crystal Tear and the Flask of Wondrous Physik. Let's take a look at those. So the flask bestows various special effects, and then at the bottom it'll show the mixing status. So once we've actually put something into it, we'll see what effects it has. A relic of the Physik chemists, priests of the Erd tree, harnesses the power of crystal tears, which only form after the passage of many moons. Various special effects are bestowed upon the drinker, dependent on the specific mixture of crystal tears. Rest at a site of grace to replenish. Basins are placed at the feet of minor Erd trees throughout the lands between in order to collect their crystallized tears. And this is one of those tears. This is the Crimson Crystal Tear. A crystal tear forms slowly over the ages where the Erd tree's bounty falls to the ground. Can be mixed in the Flask of Wondrous Physik. The resulting concoction restores half of one's maximum HP. Okay, so let's come over here and I will show you how that works. So resting at the site of grace, we can level up, which might not be a bad idea. Let's go ahead and put that 1 point into vigor. Try to get those up to 15 as soon as we can. The flasks, now we can increase the amount replenished, and that's using the sacred tier item that we picked up. And now we have this. No, we don't. This right here, the mixing the Wondrous Physik. So with this menu, you can mix 2 crystal tears in the Flask of Wondrous Physik. This will allow you to create physics with various custom effects. Okay, so we have 2 slots, but we only have 1 tier. So by adding the tier into that, we now have an item that will heal half of our hit points. So we'll equip that in just a minute. So now let's talk to Melina.
Spoken echoes linger here, words of Queen Marika, who vanished long ago. If you wish, I will share them with you. Very well. In Marika's own words, my lord, and thy warriors, I divest each of thee of thy grace. With thine eyes dimmed, ye will be driven from the lands between. Ye will wage war in a land afar, where ye will live and die. Well, perhaps that might serve you in lieu of a maiden's guidance.
Maybe and maybe not. I honestly do not know what that means. So, I'm not even going to try. So let's go back into our equipment, and we have the flask here. So I'm going to remove that, and I like to put my flask in the pouch on the bottom. So for this one, it will be hold the triangle button or the Y button and then press down. So when I use that, it is going to heal me for 50%. Okay, so now we're going to work our way over to the other marker that we put. There's a little beach over here. Not a whole lot to do, but I believe there is a crab or an octopus over here. I can't remember. Yeah, there's a crab. Nice, that was a good waste of FP. Let's try it again. Well, that was much better than my last fight against the big crab that ambushed me. Take out these little crabs too, it's not going to hurt anything. And sometimes they drop crab meat, which we can use for crafting. And that one dropped the crab egg. Actually, it looks like there might be... Yeah, it looks like there's another one down here too. And okay, so right now I was just noticing you can see the gold herb tree leaves or the little gold falling in the air. So that indicates that we will get extra runes for killing enemies when we have that, which is, I believe it's called the Blessing of the Herb Tree. So when you see those in the air, if you have an area that you like to farm and get extra runes from, then that's definitely a good time to do it. You will fall into the water here. It's a pretty clear line unless you have the camera angled to where it looks like super shiny, but for the most part it's pretty easy to see the edge of water. So just be cautious when you're there because you will fall to your death. And let's come back up this way and hop on the path. And we'll make our way southwest. Alright, so here we are at the path, and that was where we started at the church, and here we go. Heading into the forest. And remember, all of these glowing skulls always have a golden rune. I thought I saw something over there. They're always going to have a golden rune one. So these things are interesting. I'm not exactly sure what they're called, but it's like a candelabra or something like that. But when you interact with it, you'll see these golden footprints on the ground, and every so often this guy will pop up. Typically they'll lead you somewhere. I can't remember exactly what this one leads you to, but we can kind of follow him. But they move so slow. And we just picked up the hefty beast bone, which is thick, solid beast bones, material used for crafting, found by hunting particularly large beasts. And I think there might be another bear around here somewhere. Like another, what I'm going to just call a grizzly bear. So we'll want to be careful of that. Oh, there he is. Let's go ahead and take him out just so he doesn't end up sneaking up on us. Just gonna run over here and that, and a jumping attack. And we got him. Okay. So we will just ride Torn over here to get there a little bit more quickly. As you can see behind this tree over here, pick that up, gold tinged excrement. That is a rune bear. You want to be extremely careful with him. And then here's the map fragment. So let's go ahead and read that and make sure that the bear's not going to come at us. So a map of Limgrave's eastern region. So other than the Mistwood, which envelops the south, it is known for its lands which lead to Caelid, a path trod by many a soldier in the past. Let's take a look at that. So the new map has been found, and you can see it has unlocked this whole portion, which we've already done a fair, decent-ish chunk of. We're going to finish up down here in this episode, and then we'll work our way back up to Kenneth, and then we'll start working on this area around the lake. I think that's what I have planned next, but anyway, that's the map, and then this red part over here is Caelid, which is off to the east. So there is another item over here next to the rune bear, and we do want to get it. So we're going to crouch, walk, spam the button to get it, and then just crouch, walk away. Excellent. And let's see what we got. Wrong button. We got the Nomadic Warriors Cookbook, and this one will be a record of crafting techniques left by roaming nomadic warriors. Contains knowledge for surviving in the face of utter scarcity. Acquire the knowledge to craft the following: a fetid pot and a roped fetid pot. So let's take a look at those. So this one is going to cause a buildup of deadly poison. So now we have the ability to throw poison bombs. We are going to make a couple of sleep pots soon. Well, I'll just go ahead and make them now. But I am planning on using some fairly soon. I'll show you where. But let's come up here towards this building. I'm very tempted to go down the elevator that's in here, but I'm not going to yet. We are going to go there 100%. Oh, excuse me. We are going to for sure go there later, but not quite yet. Yeah, it's one of those reveals that is just absolutely incredible, and I can't wait to show it to you all if you're watching through here. So, and end up watching up to that point. So we're going to go around this, which is the minor herb tree. If you're low on flasks, this is a really great place to restock on those with the scarabs that are around. And it's a great place to get tarnished golden sunflowers. So let's go ahead and pick this one up. It's going to be a spiked cracked tear and a green spill crystal tear. So a couple more that we can put into the flask of the mixed physics. I think I said that wrong, but anyway, this one is the crystal tear form, same description, can be used in the flask of Wondrous Physik, that's it. The resulting concoction temporarily raises one's maximum stamina. So it doesn't make you recover your stamina faster, but you have more stamina to use. And this one is the resulting concoction increases the power of charged attacks for a certain duration. So that one could be good if you're using a lot of charged attacks and heavy weapons. So let's finish going around the tree and picking up as many of these crafting materials as possible. Especially those golden sunflowers. Those ones are really, really useful for making the holy pots. And those are going to come in very handy later. Okay, so from here we want to start heading south. Not necessarily on the path yet, but we will get back over there. So you can see there is another scarab beetle here. When we take him out, we're going to get another Ash of War. This one is the Ground Slam. And that one is going to grant heavy affinity. And the Ground Slam jump up high in the air and crash down on the ground ahead. The resulting pratfall sends a powerful shockwave in all directions. I've never really used that one, but I have heard that it's pretty good. And you can see we've got another ambush over here of demi-humans that we're planning on getting us over on the path. So one of them dropped a glass shard. This is probably the best item in the game. A shard of filthy glass, worthless rubbish. Because it sparkles in the light, it might be mistaken for an object of value when seen from afar. It cannot produce light by itself, essentially worthless. And I can't remember, but I don't even think that you can sell these to merchants, so absolutely worthless item. We got another one, and we picked up the thin beast bones. I'm pretty sure, yeah, we've already read that description. So if you come down the path this way, then you'll get ambushed, and there is the rune bear. There are some items in here in the middle of this area back towards Kenneth. We will make a mad dash for those probably in the next episode. There's quite a few rune bears in the middle of that forest, so you want to be extremely careful. So the next place that we're looking for is the ruins, which are right here. And I'm going to try and be quiet because there's a certain sound that we want to listen for here. There you go. So you want to make sure that you hear that howling noise. So there's a character up there on top of the ruin, and we want to hear that, and that's going to initiate another quest. So be careful through here. You can see there's a rune bear, and there's quite a few of the Trina's lilies. We are going to pick those, and this is where we're going to use the sleep pot. So first of all, we'll just sneak around, open this chest, and we can get a smithing stone level 2. And there should be something else. I think it might be over here. It might be around this way. Oh, there it is. We'll go ahead and crouch again. And it's a golden rune too. So that one's definitely worth getting. Anything more, well, even the rune ones are worth getting. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to sneak past this bear. As long as you're crouching, moving slow, he's not going to wake up. So we can come down here safely and get this item. Sorry for that pause. I had to answer my phone. So come in here and we are going to get the Axe Talisman. So this one is for enhancing charge attack. So along with that cracked tier, that can be really useful. The Lord who led the long march bore an axe, and his loyal warriors honored him by wielding axes of their own, making them very effective at dealing decisive blows. Alright, so now we want to equip, on the correct screen, we want to equip the sleep pot that we made, and we're going to put that bear to sleep. So we'll get up here to the point where we can lock onto it, hopefully. There we go, and throw it. So that one will make it go to sleep. You can see that the golden rays coming off of it. So you definitely want to do that before you try picking up these lilies, and then hop on Torrent and get away before he wakes up. And then continue heading south. And we've got this little thing on the ground. This is what the messages would look like from other players. I don't know if they glow, but this is from a merchant telling us that he is open for business. So you can see the smoke over there. So let's run over here, talk to the merchant.
Ah, welcome, dear customer. Yes, right this way. Right this way. Welcome, valued customer. Come, trade in our wandering emporium. Please, buy something. I'm hungry. I've been hungry so long. Please?
Okay, hopefully I have enough money to buy not everything. So he sells more of these festering fingers, some crafting supplies. We'll come across these later. Smithing stones, I always like to buy those. And then we still need 3,500 so that we can buy both of these cookbooks. So let's go back to selling, go over to our tools. So we need 3,500. So if we sell this one that's worth 2,000 and this one that's worth 1,600, that'll get us plenty. So let's go ahead and buy both of those books. First of all, this one will give us the Beast Lure Pot, which we will read soon. And this one will give us Exalted Flesh, which we have picked up those before. There's a couple of other shields if you want to purchase and have those in your inventory. So I know that this isn't as long of an episode as some of the others that I've done. However, I do have some life things that I need to take care of. So I am going to take out these enemies here, which that really didn't work like I wanted. I'm going to go talk to that little ghostly dude over here. And then we will go to Kennethite's Fort and end the episode. So these big guys are not super strong, but they can probably hit a lot harder. So just be aware that it's not just the little guys that will surround you. There's also a big one. see what he says. The demi-humans wax wroth. Now their mother's been taken. Where are you, Lord Kenneth? The night, bedeviled by blood. Alright, so that's Kenneth Heights Fort, and he said something about the demi-human's mother being taken, and a night bedeviled by blood, which I think Kenneth had already mentioned something about a night taking over his fort. So we will deal with that in the next episode and then continue on. So thank you again for watching, and I will see you next time.